All right, man, this is not a game. This is not a game. This is the network. Listen, the network is created to be a modern podcast version of the Negro Motorist Green Book that was created by Victor Hugo Green. Every episode is designed to help our community navigate what we like to call the funky four corners of life. What is that? That means we are here to help you physically, mentally, spiritually, and financially as you navigate and travel in and through America. I'm your host. My name is Michael Prejean. Today's guest is Mr. Taurean Bush. Tory, how you doing today, brother?
I'm all right, Mike. What's up, man?
Good, man. Good to have you. I'm excited. We're doing something a little different today, man. We're doing a little something different today, so I'm excited to have you here. I think you're gonna give us a lot of good stuff, man. We're gonna introduce you to an audience, man. I think we're gonna bring a new audience, perhaps, to the network podcast. So, first thing I want to do, man, let's let the people get to know you a little bit, man. Let's let the people get to know you a little bit. So let me ask you a couple of questions, man. Let me ask you a couple of questions so the people can get to know who Taurean Bush is. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right, man. So go ahead and tell us your name and tell us where you're from.
Well, my name is Taurean Bush. People call me Tory. I'm from. I was born in Lafayette, Louisiana. I was raised in LeBeau, Louisiana, with my grandmother. We moved. Me and my mom. We moved. Me and my dad, before they separated, we were in Lake Charles, Louisiana, and then we moved to. Things happened, mom and dad separated, and I ended up having to be raised by my grandmother, and was raised with cousins and aunt, that were younger. I was raised, I'm the oldest of four siblings, but at my grandmother's house, I was the youngest of five.
Okay.
So, um, went to Morrow Elementary, very small school. Um, if anybody know what Morrow, Lemoyne, LeBeau, Palmetto, all that is real small. But um, grow up fast. We grew up I grew up in the '80s, late '80s and the early '90s. So a lot of stuff, was different back then. So kind of grew up a little fast, with with all sorts of stuff. So, but at about 12, my grandmother said she couldn't raise no man, so I had to get on out of there. Had to go stay with my mama in Sunset, Louisiana. So
Okay. Okay.
from the age of 11 or 12, I was in Sunset. Went to Sunset Elementary, graduated from Beauchamp High School, and ended up getting almost like a scholarship to go to the Art Institute of Houston, and came to the Art Institute of Houston. Did a semester, and I ended up going to prison for about 10 years. Man, I get in some trouble. 10 years, and
Wow.
ended up getting a degree in prison, though.
Okay.
Crazy
Okay.
as it sounds, but
So
yeah,
let's back up a little bit, man. It sounds like you got a real interesting story. So
yeah, man, that's what they
you
tell
mentioned
me, man.
you mentioned being from LeBeau. Now,
Hmm.
and the words you used was just real small. So for those of you who who may not know where LeBeau is, or Sunset, and those places like that, man, listen, it's in the country.
Oh yeah,
It's in the country, little small towns, man, little small towns in Louisiana. So we're gonna come back, man. I'm gonna give you the opportunity to tell your story, but I want to do two things before we do that, man. Two things before we do that. The first thing I want you to do, man, is uh give flowers. So whenever we get into these episodes, man, we like to give people flowers who deserve them. We don't wait. We want to do it right at the beginning of the episode. So is there anybody out there, man, still living who you want to give them their flowers right now while they still here?
yeah, man. It's a few people, man. I can go on for days, but I'm gonna just keep it, as broad as possible, and as of course, all my family, just as with, I give everybody that was a part of my life, negative and positive, like I would give everybody who I've ever come in contact with, people, that believed in me when I didn't believe in myself, you know,
Yeah.
and things like that. So I can just, I would just say everybody. A lot to do with growing up with an extremely large family. You know, you don't want to leave anybody out. So I'm not gonna leave anybody out. So I'm gonna just say everybody, man. I love y'all and I thank y'all for being there. And again, the negative and the positive, because if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be who I am today. So I'm thankful and I'm grateful for every situation that happened to me. And I'm
That's
thanking
good.
everybody that believed in me when I didn't even believe in myself.
Good. That's good stuff. That's good stuff. All right. So you did mention that you had a scholarship to come to the Institute of Houston. So we're gonna get to that. Let me ask you this one thing, and then I'm gonna ask you another question right after this. So when you were younger, growing up in LeBeau, Sunset, man, what did you want to be when you grew up? So what dreams did you have? What did you want to be?
Man, you know what's crazy, Mike? I never thought that far, man. I just wanted to be I just wanted to be alive. I just wanted to be. I didn't want to. I just wanted to be successful and not. I didn't have any specifics about anything I wanted to do because every day was just what we gonna do today, how we gonna eat today, what we gonna do. It wasn't
Okay.
easy. It wasn't. So I mean, honestly, man, it never registered. It never. I just didn't want to be like everybody else. Basically. I didn't want to
Okay.
work on the railroad. I didn't want to be a painter. I didn't want to be that. I didn't want to sell drugs forever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wanted to be better, but I just didn't know how.
Okay, so let me ask you. You said you didn't want to be like everybody else, a painter or working on the railroad. So is that what the people who were in your community, is that what a lot of people in the community did?
Yeah, absolutely. All my uncles worked on the railroad on my mama's side, even on my daddy's side. I didn't want to be just to be blunt, and I didn't want to be a crackhead. I didn't want to be an alcoholic. I didn't want to be none of that, dog. I just wanted to do something positive, and I knew that if I stayed there, that's what I was going to be. I had to get away. I had to be
Okay.
away from everything. Sometimes I don't know if anybody else feels like this, but you too big for. I guess you're too big for the pond you in. You know what I mean? You can feel the difference. Like you don't want to be around these people because mediocrity is what everybody. They're rather that.
Yeah,
Comfortable. And I just couldn't be comfortable like that.
I got you. I got you. That makes sense. All right, so let's kind of get into this thing, man. So, um, you came to Houston with a scholarship to the Art Institute. So we're gonna talk about your art in a little bit, right? Man, I've seen your art. There's actually, I'm gonna make sure that I get my producer to put the artwork in the episode. Man, you did some stuff for my wife and I for our 20th anniversary. So I've seen your art. I have your art in my house.
Man, that's
if
what's
people
up, man.
want to if people want to see your art, where can they go to see your art? Is your art out on the internet? Is it on social media? Where is
Yes,
it?
sir.
Can they find you? How can people find you?
Yes, sir. I have on my Facebook account. It's Ether Art, ETHERART.
Okay.
And on Instagram, it's Tory Bush, TORYBUSH. And I have videos and reels and stuff like that on there. And you can go back as far as the timeline will take you. And I got all on there from the beginning.
Okay. All right. So man, pick up from there, man. Tell us uh you just kind of gave us, man, just a little insight into coming up. You didn't want to be like what you were seeing. You wanted to do something different. You get the scholarship to the Art Institute of Houston. So I'm gonna ask you this question, man, and I'm gonna let you take it and run with it. How old were you when you figured out that you had some real artistic talent and that it could take you somewhere?
Well, I had to be in the seventh grade, and I moved to Sunset, and I didn't see it a teacher saw it, Miss Brignac. I never forget her. She saw my stuff and she started an art class. They didn't even have an art class at Sunset Elementary. You know what I mean? So Miss Brignac saw it, and I would sit in class and draw every one of my teachers. I just doodled like every book. I drew like comic strips all at the top on the side just to keep myself occupied because I know all kids, teenagers, and all this, they know, they figure like they know everything already. So to me, everything was the curriculum was was far behind me, man. I was, I'm just there, But yeah, that's what I did. And I mean, when other people would see my work, it was, it was cool. But then when I got to high school, I took art. I took up art, and my teacher, Miss Knott, it was her first year at the school. Was my first year in art, and man, Mike, bro, look, I would draw. We used to have a we used to have a homework for every week. It was called 25 drawings. It was due every Friday. Man, look, I would get
25.
paid. It was called 25 drawings. You make a paper with boxes and you draw 25 drawings. And that's what you had to turn in at the end of the week. And man, look, I would get paid so much to draw everybody 25 drawings, man. I would do
Man,
everybody 25 drawings, man. So my job was basically my 25 drawings were more like 200 drawings, 250 drawings, So I mean, it's second nature to me. So it was never a thing to where I'd be like, if I could do something with it. I just figured, I can draw, and that's cool. I don't know no successful artist. You know what I mean? I
mm-hmm.
didn't at that time, but just by thinking about it, I thought about my friend Jonas Guidry. He had an uncle named John Edward Guidry. No, John Edward Richard. I'm sorry, and he was from Sunset. No, from Grancato, and he made it. He was an artist, and he worked for Bowen right now. And when I saw him come from Houston in his new cars and stuff, and he was like, "Man, that's what I do. I draw." That was like, man, okay, I can do this. So let me
Yeah.
go ahead on and go for it. And he went to the Art Institute of Houston. So I'm like, okay, if he can do it, I can do it. But I just didn't have the right kind of mind frame for it at that time. I was too young and used to doing, I was wild, man. I was used to doing things a certain kind of way, and I
Yeah.
wasn't ready for that.
Okay. So how old are you now?
I'm 39, man.
39. Okay.
39.
So you mentioned, man, you had to do 10 years uh in state custody. How old were you when that happened?
19. From 19 to 29, man. I got out when I was 29 years old, went in at 19.
Okay. Man, how did that change your life? If you don't
It changed
if you
my
don't mind sharing.
I can definitely give it to you, man. It changed me drastically, man. I talk about, sometimes it's like living in a fish tank, man, being in such a small area. And I got to get out of that fish tank and look at it from every angle. My life and the people in my life and the certain things that I was taught coming up versus the things that I was experiencing at this moment. And it was this guy, man. We used to call him Third Wall, man. When I first got my time, because honestly, man, they gave me some chances. I went to boot camp. I was on probation, ankle monitor. Man, I ain't stay out 11 months, man. I was, and I didn't even stay out. I wasn't really out. I didn't stay out no time, man. I stayed out 3 months here, get locked up for 6 months, come out. 10 months later, I'm back in there again. Had enough time to make a child, and went back to prison. So
Yeah.
when I went back to prison, I went to the county and then went to prison. But um, I, when I got my time, man, it was like it didn't even bother me. Actually, it was like it's another journey for me. Let me go, because a lot of stuff that I did, man, wasn't my charges. You know what I mean? Like, I felt like I did. I did what I did and I finally got caught for something. So it's time for me to go ahead and take my lick, you know.
Mhm.
So, I can't blame anybody, like, how sometimes your mom and your family like to tell you, oh, he was the wrong crowd. Man, bro, look, being honest, man, I was the wrong crowd, like sometimes it was a lot of my decisions that made me go do the things that I did. But I mean, you always have an excuse, you always have a reason behind what you did, but you always have the choice. You have a choice to make the right decision and the wrong decision. And at that point in time, I figured the wrong decisions were the better decisions for me at that time. But an older guy, man, he had then came down a few years, like he was on a violation or something, and he told me something, man, and it still registers with anything and everything right now. It was like, man, you can go to prison and become two kind of men. You can either become a bitter man who blames everybody and don't take responsibility for your actions, go down there and fight the man, play dominoes, just do penitentiary stuff, or you can become a better man because they got free stuff down there, man. You can go to school, learn a trade, become better, read. They got law libraries, they got regular libraries, read. They say if you want to hide something from a black man, you put it in a book.
Mhm.
So that's what I did. I went on not just a mental journey or a spiritual journey, as well as just finding myself and not worrying about what other people say of me or about me or none of that, because the prison, the root word for the penitentiary is repentance. So that was my penance. I went in there and I refrained. Repent means to acknowledge your sins and stay away from them. So that's what I was going in there to do, and man, it's crazy, man. Me and my cousin Brandon had just talked about it the other day, and he was like, man, the first time he saw me after all those years, he was like, because when I went to prison, he was 17. When I got out, he was 27 years old, you know, and he was graduated from UAL, and he was like, man, he was afraid to see me because everybody he had known that went to prison came back different. They came back that prison person, and he said when he saw me, he was like, man, he looked like me, but he was afraid. But whenever I spoke to him, and he was like, man, this is me, this Tory, like, wow. And he asked me just the other day, like, how did I do all that time and come back and be the same as I was before I even went in there? Because I was the same when I was in there. I didn't change for the situation. I didn't let the situation change me. I just was myself, regardless of the situation, because that's why you hear the statement of a product of my environment, and people become a product of their environments and blame everything that's in their environment. That's why we have a lot of black on black crime and stuff like that, because we're so small minded that we fight each other because we living in this little fish tank. Sometimes you got to get out of there and look at the bigger picture, because it's it's like that, but just it helped me become deeper and rooted in a lot of different aspects of life, because everybody, like my grandmother used to always tell me this, man, and it's still the truth. Somebody always has it worse than you know. So that's how I look at life. No matter what goes on, no matter how it goes or whatever, somebody always got it worse than you. So, and it's vice versa. Somebody always gonna have it better than you. So you just be grateful for what you have and use what you have to your best ability.
Man, you just shared a lot of wisdom, bro.
Oh man, appreciate it, man.
A lot of
I guess
wisdom.
that's why I got all this gray hair, man.
Hey, listen, the trick is to be young and wise,
Yeah,
We,
man.
we don't want to be old fools, but
Man,
we
that's the
also
truth.
don't have to wait until we're old to become wise, man. So you just shared a lot of wisdom with us, man, and I appreciate you sharing that. So I also know that along with your love for art, which is what brought you to Houston, right? And then you shared, you know some of the things that happened after you came to Houston. But what I know, man, is that you have a love for art, and you also have a love for dogs,
Oh yeah,
and that
dog's my thing, man.
so man, I want to talk about dogs too, but while we talking about the art and on our way to the dogs, man, tell everybody who's watching and listening about the comic book. You know what, let's pause right there for a second, man,
All right.
because I need to make sure I do this, man. So we do have a sponsor. The podcast does have a sponsor, in case y'all ain't know that.
Mhm.
So I need to go ahead and make sure that I read. Look, I can't find the I can't find my sponsor commercial. Here it is. All right, here we go, man. Listen, this week's episode is brought to you by Precision Mobile Detailing. Precision Mobile Detailing is Houston's go-to mobile detailer. Whether you're at work or at home, they're coming to you. They pulling up on you. You could be at work, they pulling up. You could be at home, they pulling up. All right. So this is what you need to do. Make sure you write this down. You can call or you can text. The number is 713-701-7839. Text or call. So you get 10% off when you text or call. Make sure you mention the network with Michael Prejean podcast. Again, that number is 713-701-7839. You can follow them on Facebook or Instagram at precision.htx. Precision Mobile Detailing, providing excellence in service. So go ahead, book. Make sure you mention the network with Michael Prejean podcast. You get 10% off when you book with them. All right, Tory, man, go ahead and tell us about. We're bridging the gap between the art and the dogs, man. So you got a comic book coming out. I'm
Yes,
calling it a
sir.
comic book, but go ahead and correct me if I'm not getting it correctly. Tell us about it.
Oh, it's a comic book, man. It's about my passion with dogs, man. I like the Marvel movies, and I like comic books and stuff like that. And every dog was bred to do something. I don't care what the dog is, and I'm just gonna spotlight all their abilities, like their special abilities or what they were bred for. Just exaggerated a whole lot, but that's what I'm. I don't want to give too much and don't want to give not enough, but um, yeah, it's about superhero dogs, man. It's called Ultimate Guard Dogs. So
Okay.
we're gonna just give history on dogs in a kind of cool way, and just tell a story. And I think I
Okay.
can. Want to can reach a few people with it, because it's got a lot more, like it's different breeds of dogs, and different breeds get scrutinized just like different races in the human race. Just like if you see a pit bull or a rottweiler, you automatically think they're a bad dog, and honestly it's not true. And you'll see a poodle and a golden retriever, and they might bite you. You know what I mean? So it just all depends on your perspective. So that's what I'm kind of gonna use as my go-to thing, my comic book. But it's gonna be action packed, and I want to keep the original kind of Marvel DC kind of thing.
Man, listen, I love that idea. So basically, what you're telling us, man, is people discriminate against dogs or stereotype dogs the same way we stereotype people.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely, man. I also train dogs. That's what I do. I honestly, I also have I'll send a picture to you so you can show everybody. But I also speak dog. I have a certificate for dog language 101, man. Dog guru, you know. So
Okay. All right. Now look, man, let's let dog guru. You got the certificate is for dog language 101.
yes, sir.
All right, man. So let's talk about the canines, man. Let's talk about the dogs. How old were you when was it like a Dr. Doolittle thing? Did you
Man,
just go?
yeah, bro.
Okay. Talk about it, man. Talk
Yeah,
about
man.
it.
Like,
Talk about it.
okay, I can talk about it, dog. Like, I can remember as being, man, some people say I'm weird, man, but I almost have a photographic memory. If anybody know me, like, I can remember things. So I can remember when I was 4, man, I had a dog. It was a Catahoula. My first dog I can never remember was a Catahoula. And
Okay.
I moved from Lake Charles. My daddy had game dogs called, pit bulls. He used to fight dogs back in the day. So, and my grandpa got me a Catahoula. And my daddy
Now,
used
let
to,
me let me jump in right here.
huh?
Now, I'm gonna just jump in. So, man, I remember when the stuff happened with Michael Vick,
Mm-hmm.
right? And man, the people were in an uproar, and people were outraged. Even my wife was like, "Man, that is terrible." But I had a cousin, the cousin that probably spent the most time with growing up. His daddy fought dogs,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah,
So that was like a normal thing growing up. So
it
man,
was.
I didn't understand how outraged people were, that Michael Vick was doing that, because I grew up around people and in a place where that was just kind of part of the culture.
Man, look, you'll
You
fight chickens, then you go fight dogs, man. That's what we did, man.
That's it, man. That's it. Like it wasn't, man,
That was a
rooster fight.
typical Friday, man.
Yeah. That was normal growing up in the part of, I don't know, in the part of the South, in the part of
Yeah, it
Louisiana,
was
in the
like the
part of
South
Mississippi.
Louisiana, like even in, it was Texas too. Like it was just a South thing, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. So my bad, man. Keep going. Keep going. I
Oh,
just
it's
wanted to throw
all
that in.
good, man. Yeah, man. So my daddy would fight my dog, man. He tell me the story now, talking about it, that dog would whip all his pit bulls. But he didn't fight them to where they would die. Like people get a bad, story about dog fighting and stuff like that. But just like my comic book, dogs were bred for certain stuff, and these dogs were actually bred to do this, and that's why they do it. It's deeply embedded in their genes. That's what they were
Mhm.
made to do, and people would anyway. So I can remember having my dogs, and when I moved with my grandmother at the age of 4, when my grandfather passed away, back then, like staying with my grandma, man, we had 3 channels, man: NBC, CBS, and ABC. Like we ain't have no no cable when I grew up. Not even no AC. Like it was like summertime. No, you going outside and you going to stay outside all day until it was time to come in.
That's
Like
it.
and even then it was, yeah. But I learned how to be with my dog, man. My dog. I had so many dogs, and what was crazy, man. It was a highway called Highway 71, man, and a lot of truck 18 wheelers. We had a, a plant. Marco is a wood plant, and like sugarcane trucks, 18 wheelers, and people drive fast on this highway, man. So I lost a lot of friends, man. Calling my dogs friends, man. I've witnessed my dogs get hit by trucks and and cars and stuff like that. Nurture them from puppies all the way up to adulthood, and then they get killed on the side of the road. So then you got to go get you another dog, and then try to train it not to go. But my grandmother didn't like to tie up no dogs, and she didn't like to keep them caged up. So if he can last, he'll last. But if not, you gonna find him on the side of the road. You know, buzzards eating him. But I learned how to. I was with him all the time. I didn't have, and like I got cousins, that stay down the way, and I would go stay with them. And practically, man, I kind of stayed with every one of my aunts and uncles, man. And I got 12 aunts and uncles, just altogether 13. My mama make 13. And I think I done stayed with every one of my aunts and uncles for at least a certain amount of time. But
Mhm.
I had dogs, man, and that's what kept me occupied, man. They were my friends. So I bonded with my dog. We would go play in the woods. At one time, my grandmother, we had hogs, and I would go in the hog pen with my dog, and just run hogs with my dogs all day, you know. But that's what
Man,
what got me with the dogs, man. It was just my everyday, my after school. I ain't have nobody else, so I'd be outside with my dogs, man.
okay. Okay. So that's, I guess, man, kind of like with anything else, man, that's kind of, that's how you learn to speak the language, basically. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
man.
When you go to, if you go to, down to Colombia or Venezuela, Mexico, a country where they speak another language, man, you spend enough time with them, you're gonna
You're
speak
gonna
that
learn.
language too.
Oh, that's a fact,
You
man.
know,
That's a fact.
man, that's wild. That's wild. All right, check this out, Tory.
Hmm.
Man, how would you describe your passion? What is the thing that drives you every day? What is the thing that keeps you, man, getting up in the morning, doing what you do?
Man, my kids and my wife, man, my family, bro. Like that's what keep me going, man. I had just about prison, man. What really was a keep going back to it, but it was a real eye opener for me, man, because I watched my kids, man, grow up on pictures, bro. Like my daughter Taylor, she was conceived while I was only out for a couple months, And when I went to prison, man, the first picture I got of her was an ultrasound, and I didn't get out until she was 9 years old. So the first time I met her, she was 9, and that was like some real, you know, heart wrenching stuff, So to not be in their life, I can, I don't ever want to not be in their life, and that's what drive me to be a better person, And I look at my where I was raised, like, and not trying to say anything bad about my parents because they were young when they had me and stuff, but being young and a kid and not knowing why your mom and your daddy don't want you, that's a hard feeling, man. Not saying that they didn't want me, but the situation at that time, they weren't able to properly take care of me, So they gave me to a person that was, who better to take care of you than your grandmother, So I just wanted to be there better than mine was, Like I was in prison, not an excuse, but my mom and daddy wasn't in jail or or they was right there. My daddy stayed in Franklin, my mama stayed in Sunset. But I would go see my mama. Like my mama was there, Like I can't not say, I would go spend the summers in Sunset and weekends and things like that, But I had younger sisters too. I got a set of twin sisters and my baby sister. And they stayed in apartments and projects and stuff like that. So I honestly didn't have the space for me. So I can respect it, and I mean it honestly was a great thing it happened because it helped me transform into the man I am. Because if I would have been raised with him, who says I would be here right now? Or I would be the same kind of guy I am now. So I mean, I just some situations, man, it helped mold you, man, and it's up to you to take the positive out of it and not just dwell on the negative because the negative, something that's crazy. It just comes to me like a battery, man. You need a negative and a positive to make it work, man. So
That's it.
that's how I look at life. Everything that was negative that happened to me and everything that's positive, man, let's put it together and become better with that. Make that work. Be that. Let that be my fuel. Push me, man. Push me hard as I can because empathy, man, is one of my strong points because I like to feel how you would feel if I did that to you. You know what I mean? Like if somebody would do something to me, how would I feel if I did that to somebody? So that's how I kind of live my life. I wouldn't want anybody to do me any kind of way, so I'm not gonna do anybody any kind of way. I don't care if I've never met you a day in my life. I'm gonna give you my utmost respect, and that's it. You have my respect until you lose it. You understand?
Man, your I love the way you have framed your life, man. I was reading somewhere that was saying that, man, your emotional intelligence is more important than like your IQ. It's saying your emotional IQ is more important, man, than your regular IQ, man, bro. And your EQ, I think that's what it's called, man. Your emotional intelligence, bro. No, seriously, man. Man, I love the way you have reframed man, your life and look and the perspective that you're looking at it from, man. Your emotional intelligence, bro, is off the charts, man.
Man, I
I
appreciate
appreciate
it.
you sharing all that. Check this out. We're getting ready to transition in a second. But before we do that, man, so we talked about the you speak dog,
Oh
right?
yeah.
Uh the love for art and the guard dog comics is coming out. But I don't want to keep going without mentioning two things, man, that I want you to touch on just real quick before we transition. Man, talk about your art show that you had in
Oh
Lake
yeah,
Charles, because I need people to know how legit the art is. And
yeah, man.
then man, you run your own kennel, is that correct?
I'm running. I have a partner, and he
You have a
has
partner.
Raw Kennels, Louisiana, Raw Kennels LLC. Y'all check him out on YouTube. Raw Kennels. Brian Abel, man, look, one of the most solid guys I ever met in my life, man. Like he, honestly, man, like he pushed me so hard. I wouldn't be in this situation, honestly, with my wife and kids in the situation I am, honestly, man, because he believed in me more than I believed in myself. He's one of the people that pushed me in the back so hard, man. Was like, man, you got it, man. What's wrong with you? You got the talent, bro. Go for it, man. So yeah, he's the gas behind the fire. You know what I'm saying? If that make any sense. He the
That
gas
makes
behind the
sense.
fire, man. And yeah, that's why I got my Raw Kennels Texas over here, and yeah, I got dogs. Yeah. I train dogs as well. That's my passion, man.
All right, so listen, this brother trains dogs. He speaks dog. I don't know if y'all know anybody who speaks dog, but this brother told you speak dog, man. So get at him. He gave you his information where you can find him. So if you got a dog, man, you need some training, get at him. Get at Tory. All right, before we transition, man, tell us real quick about your art show that you did in Lake Charles.
Yeah, man. I was contacted by one of my friends, man. His name is JB. JB. Shout out to JB, man. Well, he was church member in Palmetto, and my Aunt Leanna, she talked to him, and he goes to art shows. He's an artist, and he's an established artist as well, And he saw some of my stuff, man. He told me he hooked me up with this lady named Miss Stella Brown or Stella Brown Miller in Lake Charles with the Black Heritage Art Museum in a museum in Lake Charles, and they I sent them a few pieces of my art, and they liked it, and they asked me if I had enough pieces to put into an exhibit, and I did. And when I first was about to do it, COVID-19 happened, so the pandemic happened and it stopped it. But then they reached out to me and asked if I still wanted to do it, and I went on with it and had my first art show, man. And to for anybody, man, a lot of my art that was hanging on that wall in that museum, man, I drew that in a cell, man. I drew that on Dolph Briscoe unit, man, in a cell, man, and it was hanging up in a museum, and people came and saw my stuff hanging on the wall, and I drew this in a prison cell, man. So for anybody out there that done went through something, man, look, don't stop, man. It is, man. Look, go for whatever dream, whatever you want to do, man. You push forward, full blast, man. Don't stop, because if you stop, man, you lose. So push, man. Push every day. Do it, even if you don't see no results, man. Look, still do it, man, because iron sharpen iron, man. The more you do something, the better you get at it, man. So that's my only advice for anybody, man. Don't never stop, man. If you are passionate about it, man, you do it every day, even when you can't see the results, man. Just it'll come if you're doing the right thing, man.
Man, listen, that's a word. That's a word. That's a word. Listen, if you are listening to the audio podcast right now, or maybe you're watching on YouTube, I need you to go ahead and like, subscribe, and then share with somebody. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, man, go ahead and give us that 5-star rating. You can follow the podcast on Facebook, The Network with Michael Prejean, and then you can catch us on Instagram, the_network_podcast. Like, subscribe, share, tell a friend. I greatly appreciate it. All right, Tory, before we get into this exit ticket, man, is there anything that keeps you up at night?
Man, just recently, man, these guns, man, killing these people, man, these mass shootings, man, and that's kind of been on my mind, man. Like I have kids that go to school, like that, and a baby, a newborn, 7 months old, man, and just the craziness around this world, man, and how people are so closed-minded and so blinded by, just the silly stuff, like it's bigger than it's bigger than us, it's bigger than just this, like it's a warfare, man, and you need to be spiritually prepared, you need to be mentally prepared and physically prepared, like you have to be open your minds, open your eyes, open your ears, because a lot of people like to talk, man. And it's another saying, man. My look, growing up with old people, man, they tell you old stuff, man. And people say I got an old soul, man. So my thing is, man, you got two eyes, two ears, and God gave you one mouth, man. You close that, you hear and see twice as much, man. So the more you talk, man, the more you not listening. You can't hear, man. So just shut up sometime and listen and look. And if you do that, man, you'll see what's really, and you'll understand better. You can't understand something talking, man.
That's it. More of that wisdom coming out.
I
All right.
appreciate
We're getting ready to go into the exit ticket. The exit ticket, formerly the lightning round and the recommendeds, we call it 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna ask Tory 5 random questions. I got something special for him today. So that's the 5. Then the 4, we're gonna do what we call the funky 4. Tory is gonna share with us the best advice he's received in the following areas: physically, mentally, spiritually, and financially. That's the 4. Then we get to the 3. We're gonna get 3 recommendeds. One recommended book everybody needs to read, one song everybody needs to listen to, and one podcast everybody needs to hear. All right, then we're gonna get to the 2. Tory's gonna tell us 2 things that he's gonna make sure he gets done in the next 90 days. And then we get to the last thing, which is the one. It's gonna be one piece of unsolicited advice that nobody asked for, but he gonna give it to us anyway. We used to call that you didn't ask. So we're gonna get into the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This is our exit ticket. Tory, you ready, bro?
I'm ready, man.
All right, man. So I got a couple of with your 5, I got a couple of random questions for you. And then we're going to do 3 name that breed questions.
Oh
All
yeah, all
right.
right.
All right. So here we go, man. First question. If you could be guaranteed one thing besides money, what would it be?
Life, man. Life, like that. Like I mean, just life, living life, man. Being free, man. My freedom in life, and that's it, man. Or, and I'm sorry, a dog, man.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
My
All right, here we
family.
go. Second question. If you had your own late night show, if you had the Tory Bush show, who would be your very first guest?
Hmm. Oh man. Wow, man. That's a great question, man. Like, does it have to be anybody, famous or anything like that?
Anybody you want to bring. It's your show. Anybody you want to bring on.
Man, my boy Brian Abel, man. We're gonna talk about the dogs, man. Royal Kennels, man. That's what we're gonna talk about. So,
All right, that's what's up. All right. Now we're gonna name that breed. We're
all
gonna
right.
name that breed. So what I'm gonna do, man, is I'm gonna give you like uh characteristics of a certain breed, and I'm gonna see if you can accurately guess what the breed is. You ready for this?
I'm ready, man.
All right. This this first one is a well-balanced athletic dog that demonstrates great strength, endurance, agility, and a friendly attitude. Historically, this dog was bred to be a utility dog used for work in the farm. They have a life expectancy of about 10 to 12 years. right? Males get to be between 75 and 100 pounds, 60 to 80 pounds for females, and the average height is between 20 and 25 inches. This is a self-willed dog that only
Rottweiler.
barks to alert. What you say?
I said Rottweiler. Are you gonna give me any more attributes? Because like what you
That's all.
said, like, huh?
That's all I got right there.
Okay. So I would say a Rottweiler, man, or because it could be a quite a few dogs. Because a lot of dogs are utility dogs, so it could be
Uh-huh.
either it's a massive type dog, it's a working dog, so it's got to be either. Did it pull? Did it do pulling, or is it? Let me see. Friendly. I can say a pit bull because it could be that. It's a broad. Let me see. It could be a Rottweiler, pit bull, border collie. I mean, it could be so many different type of dogs. Utility dog. I'm gonna just go with the pit bull, man, or American
Okay.
Staffordshire Terrier.
Listen, man, you really not far off. This one in particular was the American Bulldog.
Ah, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. But it come, yeah, you're right. I can't, it comes from the pit bull and a bulldog. So it's yeah, it's a when you working dogs, you gotta sometimes you gotta give me a color or something because it's a lot of dogs that have the same kind of tributes. But yeah,
Okay. All right. So this one I'm gonna start off with color.
okay,
I'm gonna
okay.
give you some colors for this one. All right. This dog comes in a range of coat colors that include black, fawn, red, gray, and yellow. It can also be seen with brindle or white markings. Let me give you more. Height 28 to 35 inches.
Mastiff.
All right, let me see if you can guess exactly which kind of mastiff.
English Mastiff.
Um, this particular mastiff was in charge of defending against wolves or other predators. It was used for guarding and defense and closely related to the seasonal moving of livestock, especially the merino livestock, which he accompanied at the time of the Mesta.
Hmm. Okay, and it could be Presa Canario, either Presa Canario, because they come in brindle in all those different colors. But English Mastiff also comes in all those different colors as well. Um, Connie Corso maybe. So again, I'm gonna go with the. And you said it did like herding too.
Mhm.
I'm gonna go with the Presa, man. Presa Canario, man. But it might be. Oh, it could be. Dang, man. Dang, man. Uh,
Hey, you good, man. This one is, you hit mastiff quick. This one is the Spanish mastiff.
the Spanish Mastiff. These are quite rare dogs you talking about, yeah. And they got longer fur. Yeah, I know exactly how they look and everything. Yeah, Spanish Mastiff, and yeah, Dogo they call them. Spanish Dogo.
Okay.
Yeah, Mestino.
All right, last one. Last one. Last one. All right. This is I can't that's gonna make it too easy. All right, here we go. That's gonna make it too easy as well. All right, let me try this. Let me try this to make it not too easy for you. This particular breed is quick and nimble footed. It's a born pack dog that's innately friendly. It's
Beagle.
energetic. Hold on, let me give you a little more because
Okay, okay,
I'm trying to not give you too much.
okay, all right.
Innately friendly, energetic, cannot resist chasing small animals. Its almond shaped eyes can be either brown or blue.
Brown or blue.
Affectionate with family, good with dogs and other children. The height between 20 to 22 inches for a female,
Oh, that's big. It's big.
21 to 21 to 23 and a half for a male, and then males weigh 45 to 60 pounds or 35 to 50 pounds for a female.
Okay. Do they like the cold?
Yes,
Husky.
there it is. There it is. Man, the brother is good, man. The brother is good. Listen, he told y'all he speak dog. All right, man. So that was the 5. Now let's get to the funky 4, man. Let's get to this funky 4. Let's get to this funky 4. So I'm gonna ask you, man, the best advice you receive in the 4 areas. Physically, about taking care of yourself. Mentally, taking care of your mentals, like Marshawn Lynch told us. Spiritually and financially. So what's the best advice you've received in those areas? Physically, mentally, spiritually, and financially.
Okay, physically, man, I did 6 months of correctional boot camp, man. So I learned all sorts of physical things. Some of you know that saying, if you don't mind, it don't matter. Um, I learned that when you're working out, man, that burn you feel, that's the worst it's gonna feel. Like the worst of your burn is it ain't gonna get worse than that. So if you can endure that, just keep on going, keep pushing. That's just like with anything you do in life. So physical, man, keep pushing, don't stop. Don't just keep active. Um, physical, so mental. Another thing goes as far as if it don't mind, if you don't mind, it don't matter, man. You can't let your situation or anything around you overcloud and make you do something that you know. Another saying, crazy Mike. I'm sorry, man. I got them all day, man. Is
Oh, you good. You good.
I before E, man. I before E, man. Emotions, intelligence over emotions every time, man. So I before E, man. Use your intelligence before you use your, because sometimes your heart can lead you into thinking something else, But mentally, man, you need to think about stuff before you react to it. You said physically, mentally, financially, whatever you do, pay yourself first. you know, always pay yourself first. You know, and don't ever live above your means. If you can't afford it, don't buy it. Easy as that. And you said
Yeah.
spiritually, man. Every day, man. Thank God, because nobody promised tomorrow, man. You wake up and you thanking for your first breath and how beautiful the sky is. If it's raining, snowing, or sunshine, man, he made it all, man, and you just be grateful for that, man. He will lead you, Faith, man, always have it.
That's good. That's good, man. So we did the 5. We just did the funky 4. So now we on the 3 recommendeds, man. 3 recommendeds. So one book everybody needs to read, one song everybody needs to hear, and then one podcast everybody needs to listen to. If you're a podcast guy, if not, you can give us 2 of the others.
Okay, book The Secret. Get to it, man. I can't remember who wrote it, but if you look up The Secret, it's one of the books that helped me and guided me through, some tough times, man. So The Secret is definitely a book that I recommend. Um, Song, man. I told you I did 10 years, so when I come out, man, I still listen to the Hot Boys, man. I listen to Guerrilla Warfare, man. But honestly, man, anything Nipsey Hustle, man. I've been on it, man. He helped that motivation, man. This that positivity, man. You don't hear it too often, but the dude was the truth, man. He if you listen to him, man, anything, hustle and motivate or something like that. One of them songs, but and you said music, book, and podcast.
Podcast.
Okay, another podcast is ATP at this point by Brandon James, man. I was in prison with this guy. We did a long time together, man. Good guy, man, and he doing something positive with this podcast, man. So I would go check him out, man. It's called At This Point, ATP, with Brandon James.
Yeah, I'm gonna check that out, man. Definitely gonna check that out. All right, that's 5, 4, 3. 2 things you plan to get done in the next 90 days.
Comic book and hmm, let me see. I know the comic book. I have another comic book as well for somebody else, a horror comic book. So I'm also gonna try to get those comic books up and going, man, and a few portraits that I've been working on. So that's definitely what it is.
Okay. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now give us one piece of unsolicited advice. Nobody asked for it, but you're gonna give it to us anyway. We used to call this you didn't ask. So what piece of advice do you have for us that nobody asked for, but you're gonna give it to us anyway?
Mm. Sometimes the only way out, man, is to go through it, man. So no matter what your situation is, man, you have to go through it to become who you're gonna be. So no matter how hard it seems for anybody, man, you got to go through that, man, because that's how they make a sword, man, with fire and ice, man. So go for it, man.
Boy,
Just it's the only way out, man. Just go through it, bro.
man, that's good stuff. Listen, y'all, that was the exit ticket. 5 random things, the funky 4, 3 recommendeds, 2 things that you're gonna get done in the next 90 days, and then one piece of advice you didn't ask for. But I'm gonna be honest with you, man, you needed that. Sometimes the only way out is going through. Y'all, I told y'all when we started that this is not a game. Y'all know what this is? Man, this is the network. Remember, every episode is designed to help the physical, mental, spiritual, and financial health of Black people living in and traveling through America. Listen, man, I'm your host, Michael Prejean. For Tory Bush, today's guest, make sure y'all check him out, man. Ether Art, Tory Bush. Go check out his art. Get with him at Royal Kennels, man. Listen, Tory, man, I appreciate you today, sharing your story, sharing your knowledge, man, and sharing all that wisdom. Bro, I appreciate you more than you know, man.
I appreciate you too, man. And another shout out to my wife, man, for believing in me too, man. So I gotta put it in there, man, because we had a journey us two, man. So that's a whole nother story, you know. So just thank you for having me, and I hope I touched some people, man.
Man, you were great today. Listen, signing off again. I'm your host, Michael Prejean, for Tory Bush. Subscribe to the network. You never know, you might need it. Peace, y'all.